My eyes nearly popped out my head. One evening, while dining alone at a quiet restaurant, at the next table, two guys were laughing loudly. One was bragging. She's a total bombshell. I nailed her for the first time on her wedding day, right under her clueless husband's nose. My fork froze halfway in my mouth. It wasn't just what he said. It was whose voice it was. The voice belonged to Travis, my best man. The same guy who had toasted our marriage with such genuine warmth. The man who held the ring just moments before I slipped it onto my wife's finger. And now here he was boasting about sleeping with someone's wife on her wedding day. My stomach turned as I realized that the she he was talking about was mine just 2 hours earlier. I wasn't even supposed to be there alone. It was our third wedding anniversary. An evening I had planned to be special. A quiet dinner at Gale's. The same place where I first asked her to be my girlfriend, where I later proposed perfectly under soft lighting. But an hour before reservation, her text arrived. Work dump a nightmare project on me. I can't get away. Rain check. I didn't argue. I went anyway. Maybe for comfort, maybe for wine, and asked for a quiet booth in the back. Somewhere private. I never expected fate to seat me right beside the ruins of my life. Betrayal doesn't hit like a storm. It's a slow, creeping poison disguised as a shrug, a glance, a careless laugh. You don't realize what it means in the moment, only later, in the silence of your own thoughts. Do those tiny moments claw at your memory with merciless clarity? Our wedding day was perfect on the surface. The crisp late fall air, the golden sunlight filtering through the windows, the delicate white lace of her gown, that made her look like a dream. Everyone said we were perfect, even Travis. He clapped me on the back before the ceremony, his grip tight, his smile genuine. You made it, man. Finally locking it down. I remember that hug now. How long he stayed behind after the photos while I was busy greeting guests and she was getting her hair done. What I didn't know then was that she was getting undressed just 10 feet away. That was the first sign I missed. After the reception, she said she was exhausted, complaining of blisters and an upset stomach from too much champagne. When we reached the honeymoon suite, she barely touched me. I just need to sleep, she whispered, curling into the blankets. I didn't question it. Why would I? We were married. We had forever. But forever had been stolen from me that very afternoon by the man who stood next to me at the altar. Back in the present at Gale's, I sat frozen, listening to Travis laugh and mock the clueless husband, recounting how stupid I was for never catching on. I wasn't angry yet, just numb. Years of building trust, memories, a life together, all shattered in a single sentence, overheard by chance. The cruelest part, I was a fool in their story, and they didn't even bother lowering their voices. When I left the restaurant, my hands trembled, not with fear or rage, but with the adrenaline of knowing the truth. I hadn't imagined it. The distance, the lies, they were real. I didn't go home. I didn't call her. I didn't cry. I went straight to the one place betrayal can never hide, the past. I opened the wedding album, not the glossy version on the shelf, but the raw, unedited digital folder from our photographer filled with candid behind-scenes shots. Photo 167 stopped me cold. Travis standing too close behind her, hand resting low on her back, leaning in with familiarity no guest should have. She was laughing. Her face half turned from the camera, but something about the way they were positioned screamed intimacy. I checked the timestamp. The venue had security cameras, not inside the bridal suite, but in the hallways, loading areas, and corridors. I still had the coordinator's contact info, so I sent a polite fabricated request for time logs for our anniversary slideshow. The reply came within hours. Travis entered the rear hallway near the bridal prep room at 2:43 p.m. and exited at 3:05 p.m. The ceremony began at 3:15 p.m., 12 minutes, unaccounted for. No one had ever questioned those missing moments. Until now, a month after the wedding, Travis left town without a word, claiming a job offer in Denver. He and my wife stopped texting around the same time, and for years, radio silence. No calls, no visits, nothing. It felt like someone running from guilt. I pulled her old phone from the closet, the one she replaced but never discarded, and scrolled through the message cache. Most threads were deleted, but one image remained. A blurry reflection of Travis in a hotel bathroom mirror from the day of our wedding. That's when the truth slammed into me. This was a mistake or a slip. It was a deliberate, rehearsed betrayal played out like a cruel performance while I smiled with cake on my face. That night, I stared long and hard at my reflection, not to see myself, but to say goodbye to the man who let it happen. Tomorrow a new man would wake up, and he was ready to burn it all to the ground. They say revenge is best served cold. Mine came frozen, wrapped in courtesy, handed over like a gift because my wife wasn't just going to lose me. She was going to lose everything she built on a foundation of lies. Step 1, smile like nothing's wrong. The night after I found the proof, I came home with roses. Her favorite. She was on the couch scrolling through Instagram, probably messaging one of her book club friends. "For me?" she asked, surprised. "Of course," I said, smiling gently. "I missed you last night." Guilt flickered in her eyes. The kind people show when they think they've gotten away with something. I kissed her cheek and told her I booked a weekend trip for us. A quiet coastal escape to reconnect. She beamed, completely unaware she was walking toward the exit. Ramp. Step 2, lay a financial trap. Over the next 10 days, I played the loving husband, made breakfast, sent midday love texts, watched our favorite shows, but behind the scenes, I was preparing to kill. I opened a separate checking account, redirected our paychecks, took control of our shared bills, canceled joint credit cards, and gathered all legal documents she'd signed, mortgage, insurance, everything. I was building a paper trail. When ending a marriage with evidence in one hand and control in the other, you don't just file for divorce. You hand down an ultimatum they can't spin. Step 3, bait the snake. One evening while she showered, I left her iPad open on the kitchen counter, deliberately pulled to a random women's forum page titled, "Is it cheating if it was before the reception?" I waited upstairs. 12 minutes later, I heard her footsteps slow. "Hey, did you read this?" I asked, finding ignorance. "What thing on the iPad?" She replied, trying to sound casual. "Nothing, just stupid stuff." She was rattled. Not because I knew, but because her gut told her I might. Doubt is the best leash you can put on a liar. The final act came on our weekend getaway. A charming coastal town, a quiet Airbnb, wine and sea breeze. On the last night, sitting on the deck as the sun melted into the ocean, I broke the silence. "I've been thinking," I said softly, "about us." She tilted her head. "Yeah, about trust and honesty and second chances." I pulled out a small box, not a ring, but USB drive. "Proof," I said quietly of what I already know. Her face drained of color. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse calmly. I gave her 2 choices. 1, I file for divorce, go public, and send her boss a timeline of her affair that started on our wedding day. Or 2, she walks away quietly. No fight, no claims, hands over house keys and car, and we never speak again. She didn't respond, just stared at the ocean as if hoping it would swallow her whole. And I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. She didn't argue or cry, didn't scream or deny, just sat trembling, the USB untouched between us. "You don't mean all that?" she whispered. "I do," I said, standing up. "But don't worry, I won't ruin you." I paused, looked her straight in the eyes. "You did that yourself." The next morning, she packed silently and left behind everything. Her car, her keys, her name on a house, and every last out of control she thought she had. Word spread quickly. Travis reached out. "Hey man, long time. Hope you're good. Can we talk?" I didn't reply. He sent 3 more messages, then an email. I forwarded everything to HR at his company, attaching the hotel bathroom selfie. 2 days later, an anonymous LinkedIn alert popped up. Travis was now open to work. She tried to spin it to our mutual friends, but the moment people learned Travis was involved, sympathy dried up like rain on hot pavement. Even her best friend, the one who toasted our wedding with teary eyes, messaged me. I had no idea. She used to brag about how perfect you were. Yeah, I replied. She just wanted a better mirror. The divorce was painless. She didn't contest it. Didn't want a legal fight, or the court hearing with what I had on file. She walked away with nothing but a storage unit and a name that no longer opened doors. I kept the house, the peace, and a future no longer built on sand. Travis. Rumor has it that he left town quietly, embarrassed and unemployed. I hope every mirror he passes reminds him of that one photo, the one he took on my wedding day, thinking he'd won something. They always think the quiet ones break, that the loyal fold, that the kind retreat. But they forget what happens when silence turns into strategy. That's not forgiveness. That's precision. It's been over a year now. I changed the locks, repainted a house, bought new furniture. Every inch wiped clean of her ghost. The rooms feel wider. Not physically, but honestly. No tension hiding under cushions. No fake laughter echoing down hallways. No lies spooning me to sleep. And I like it. I like the quiet that doesn't come a betrayal. She tried to reach out once. A simple email with the subject, "I wish we could have talked before things ended." I never opened it. Not out of anger, but because I was done. Some chapters don't deserve to be reread. Some people don't deserve closure, only consequence. And Travis. Nothing but silence.